Welcome to another episode of For Yans Only Life Hacks. On this episode, we're going to be speaking on cryptocurrency. The purpose of this episode is cryptocurrency literacy. Here I have with me, I have Naafiu and Stanley. Nafs, aka the token maker, my guy. Stanley, aka Mr. 10x.
You already know.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yo, bro. Yeah, what's good? I'm Nafs. Probably some of you don't know me, some of you do. How do I start with this? Well, I kind of really got stuck into crypto probably in like February, man. One of our guys, I have this group chat. We kind of like all just discuss about stocks mainly. Then one of our boys popped in, this guy was just telling us about the craziness, that it's crypto, all of that. And bro, it's like you're just gonna get addicted at one point because first of all, there's already so much money in the space. It's like it's emerging, right? There's so much to learn, so much to know. So yeah, I basically just got hooked. I had a whole ass stock portfolio, something I was managing for a while, day to day, where I literally flipped all my cash every single year, every dollar I had into cryptocurrencies, bro. Like that's how much I believed in the space, That's how deep I went into it. And bro, ever since, you just keep learning, you just keep evolving, you just keep February I started knowing almost nothing apart from the basics, the basic currencies, the basic use cases. But now we're probably own like over 100 coins. Not saying that's any of a big deal, but I've gotten so deep to it that I really make my own projects, right? So, that's how crazy it
is a big deal. It is a big deal. The token maker.
Exactly.
So you just went from Naafiu. A brief intro from Naafiu there. My man Stanley, he's been on our For Yans Only actual episode before. If you haven't heard it, I believe the episode is Where's Your Foot's Walk? I believe that's in what the episode is called.
Go check that. You get
Yeah. Go check that. Go review that still. Stanley, you want to introduce yourself again, very briefly, for those who didn't listen to that.
First of all, my name is Eman. I don't know why, why man is using my last name like that, but yeah. I'm trying to be casual and that. So that the shorties, don't feel pushed back and all of that, you get me? But yeah, like, who am I? I'm just a random guy, I'm trying to retire at 30. That's my goal at the end of the day. So that's why I got into this space because, I heard the money was there. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. Honestly,
where the money there I go to.
That was the major reason, and obviously I think most people know about Bitcoin. Like, if you still don't know about Bitcoin at this point, then you're probably 95 years old, or,
Right.
But yeah, so like at this point, I'm so into it. I'm to the level where Bitcoin really is like US dollar right now.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense, right? So
I get that.
It will make more sense towards the end of the episode.
I first got into like trading in general last year around June, right? And like lots of things, like when you're trying to to make a deposit or make a transaction using Bitcoin was the easiest way and the cheapest way. So that was the first time I ever bought Bitcoin just to buy stuff, or pay for something else. Then it was never like an investment because I was just, buying it to use it right away. Right. So the first investment I ever made was I bought XRP, Ripple in December. Yeah, that didn't go so well at first, but you know, I didn't know what I was doing. One of my boys was like, "This is gonna go, mad," and I was like, "Okay, you know what? Let me put some money in that." I didn't even know what Ripple was. I didn't even know how it worked. I just bought that and I forgot about it. When I really got into the space, was around the same time as Naafiu did in January, late January, when one of the guys that's in a trading group, decided to post the results, and it's like, oh, he made this amount of money. I'm like, oh, what is that? And that's when we all, at that point, we are just buying whatever the guy was like, yo, buy this or buy that. But then as we went on, we started to learn that this isn't just money. This is way bigger than money. So as we go more into the podcast, we kind of let you guys know more about what we know, because honestly, out of 100, we probably know 1 or 2%, but most people know 0%. That's how new this space is. So yeah, that's my introduction still.
Thanks, Stanley, for that introduction. As you would also know, I'm Manny P. Y'all know me on the episode. I'm just going to be more of a moderator here on this episode, where I'm also just learning from the likes of Naafiu and Stanley. They're the guys with the knowledge. They'll be sharing the knowledge here on this episode. So, guys, what do you understand from crypto? So, let's say if, for example, like your dad, let's say your dad, someone elderly asks you, okay, what is crypto? How would you explain cryptocurrency to the person?
I think obviously for me it would be short and sweet. I'll just be like, it's a private digital asset, or like digital currency, however you want to put it, just lets you transact in like within milliseconds, right? Especially for some networks like Ripple or like, XLM, which is Stellar, right? I think simply put, like that's what cryptocurrency is, like in a general sense, because first of all, there's like the elements to it, right? Obviously, there's the currency itself and there's the blockchain, but I feel like what most people are very familiar with is the currency on its own. So I would just simply say it's a digital currency, which is private.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Stanley, how about you?
I see it as I will use Bitcoin as an example because crypto is too broad. I would say Bitcoin is money for the people, by the people. There's no middleman, right? Like if you wanted to buy something and you pay with your debit card, then the bank is involved and the bank makes money off every transaction. But then with crypto, you're transacting directly with whoever it is. So, that's why it's cheap, because like no one else is taking a cut out of it. It's just straight, and that's why it's also fast, because the transactions most times are instant, right? So yeah,
I see.
That's how I'm going to describe it.
So by your definition, could I also call it like a black market? You know how, like, for example, when there's forecasting in Nigeria, let's say, you get from all those dealers on the road. It's very quick. Like, there's no like middleman. There are no other excess charges. Everything is like, I guess but in your own sense, it's more like a digitalized black market. Is that like?
Yeah. So like it's a black market on the internet, basically.
Okay. And where would you say that like this currency, this black market, where would you say like it gets its value from? So for example, you know how we said that gold, for example, why is gold valuable? Basically because we value gold, we put the value to it. So how does
not just that,
get its value?
Why gold is valuable is the is the scarcity.
Okay.
Because gold is limited, and the amount of work which goes into actually, getting the gold out of the ground. So that's why it's worthwhile. If gold was just, laying on the floor everywhere, gold would be worthless, because why would I, pay you for gold when I can pick it up on the floor?
Facts.
So, yeah.
Facts. Okay. So in terms of crypto, where does it get its value from then?
Once again, I'll go with BTC again as an example. So a lot of people, they call Bitcoin digital gold, right? Because Bitcoin is limited, right? And it is also mined. And by mining, like, you're not digging out Bitcoin out of the ground, but you need most times you need like big ass computers to basically mint the Bitcoin. So like you're using computer power to create the Bitcoin, an amount of Bitcoin that can be created is limited by the supply and the time too, right? So as it goes on in time, less and less is made until we reach the maximum which is ever going to be made, and that is and that's where the technology it comes in, right? Like that's what they call the smart contracts. Naafiu will talk about that more, right? In terms of Bitcoin, that would be the blockchain, right? So it's in the coding that you can't mine more than a certain amount. Unlike US dollar, whenever the Fed wants to make more money, they just print more money. There's no backing. There's no limit to like what amount of money can be printed. And you asked, where does the value come from? With crypto, it's basically a hedge to inflation, right? Because when you print more and more money, then the value of the money is going to go down, because it's easier and easier to have money, right?
Yeah.
But with crypto, as time goes on, the supply is the same and the demand keeps going up. So it goes up in value over time, most of the time, right? That's where the value is. People used to buy gold when the economy is going bad, right? Because gold will keep will keep the value, right? That's why the price of gold has right now the price of gold, 1 ounce is about 1,800. It was once like less than $100, right? So over time it's gone up, and that's what we've seen with Bitcoin, because inflation doesn't stop. It's gonna get worse and worse. What do you think about that, Naafiu?
Well, that's facts, though. That's facts. Like, obviously, like, you all know the governments are going to keep bringing more money. And the truth is that most, like I don't know if anybody like listening keeps up with American politics, right? But we all know that the Democrats are very notorious for, like, printing money at a stupid rate, right? So, to be honest, like, for the next, like, 2 to 4 years, as long as Biden's in power, you can expect that more money is going to be printed, Obviously, the whole world governs around, like, the US dollar, right? So just know that, like, obviously, the value of this, because it's just simple, like, proportionality, right? Like, obviously, if there's more US dollars in the economy. Obviously, the worth of any single cryptocurrency, any alternative assets, that's how I like to think about alternative assets, right? It's always going to keep going up, right? So that's just aside from like the benefit that a lot of these cryptocurrencies do offer is actually also, like Emmanuel said, such a huge like hedge against inflation, because it's been done in the past for a long time, in the sense of like, protecting yourself with a lot of alternative assets, right? It's like it's nothing new. The only difference now is, it's just digital. And if anything, is much more safer than any alternative asset out there, to be honest. So that's what I think.
I see. So just moving on to like the next point. Like I know there are a lot of like popular misconceptions about cryptocurrency. For example, like the liquidity. Some people think it's like an MMM, which is basically like a Ponzi scheme. Some people they're not really too knowledgeable about it, so they feel like they're also afraid of it being for the fact that it's decentralized, where they're not used to like a decentralized system. What would you guys have for the listeners just to kind of like put their mind at rest? Obviously, we're not really, none of us here are experts per se. We're all just testing new waters. Cryptocurrency is pretty new. But what are like some things that you'd know that for sure that at least like can give people like a rest or like a peace of mind based on these misconceptions?
Just what I think, right? So obviously, so I'm not gonna sound like an expert at all, right? Because, bro, I think I only really got started getting really deep into this in like, I would honestly say like February. So I've basically spent like 3 months of like spending like minimum 6 hours, just learning about cryptocurrency, investing in cryptocurrency, right? So I'll say the main thing is just education, bro. Like a lot of people just like the education. I feel like the first
Okay.
step is once you educate yourself. There are so many good books out there, you know. There's so many things you can learn. I've really like this a good book that really got me going. The book is called like How to DeFi, right? It really shows you the element of so decentralized finance, right? It really shows you the
Okay.
element of cryptocurrency that people really fail to see, that part that I feel is definitely going to revolutionize the way we do, finance or financial transactions, right? So I think education is definitely the first step. Once you get educated, you know, then you really understand why people really go so hard on this. Why some people invest literally their whole life into it, because if it truly is to reach its true potentials, like replace a lot of the financial systems we have today, and only like who knows how big of a change this could be. Because one thing is I always say is that like, okay, it's one thing for something to replace another, there's another thing for the value added, right? Because whenever there's a value
Yeah,
added, the general valuation of like the whole space goes up. So the financial
that's true.
system might be worth, let's say, hypothetical, like 10 trillion or some whatever, any number, right? I think with something like cryptocurrency involved, it could easily become worth 20, 30 million. Because why? The value of the whole industry just goes up because transactions are more transparent, they're more efficient, they're just more safer, like, so it's just, to me, it just fixes a lot of the general problems. And yeah, that's what I think. I feel like education is the first step. Once you get educated, then everything follows. You just start seeing things in a clearer light. You start to notice that, like, a lot of the way the banks go about their business is foul play. A lot of the ways that we do our day-to-day transactions is foul play. A lot of things can definitely be better, but we just choose to ignore it because we don't just all believe in, like, the concept of like
We're used to
decentralized
it.
finance. Yeah, we're too used to it, and the moment you break out of that chain, because no matter what, the change is gonna happen, right? It's just about like who are the people that are gonna be left behind, and who are the people that are gonna adapt, and go with it. Because you can already see a lot of companies already adapting, they're already adjusting the way they do business, and there are gonna be a lot of companies that don't. So obviously, those are the companies that most likely will not be in business in the next coming years. Because think about it, most companies don't even last up to 60 years. Because innovation is just so fast and so rapid. So the fact is that is gonna happen. I have no doubts. It's just about us as consumers. Like, it's like, what can we do? To educate ourselves. So whereby we can benefit from this rapid change, right? And it's all about education. Like, obviously the space is so new. Obviously that's why some people believe, oh, scam this, scam that. But there are a lot of legit projects out there. There are a lot of legit ways, you can invest in the space, and how you can also use it to benefit yourself as an individual also. Like, even though we had limited time, I could go on and on about this, right? But yeah, it's just about education, man. Once you hit that, then everything just follows, yeah.
Yeah, let me speak, oh, before you take all
Yeah.
the time.
Stanley, just before you go on, you can answer this, but most of us are going to chip in another question, which I feel like you probably feel strongly about. Um, I know how we were speaking before about like the banks, like basically how I don't think you were on the call before then, but me and Naafiu were basically speaking about the differences between like putting your money in the bank and putting that in the crypto. And I feel like I know you have always been against like banks. Yeah, the stock guy, Mr. 10x, Mr. 10x. So like, what do you feel in terms of like crypto, obviously a decentralized system, as opposed to investing in like putting your money, your P's at the bank? What do you think are like some of like the pros of putting in crypto as opposed to putting in the bank? And plus, obviously, you can also answer the previous question a few just answered about popular misconceptions.
Okay,
It's kind of loaded, my bad.
I'll start with the question that I just asked now. So, okay, let me put it like this, right? If you have your money in the highest interest savings account at the bank, right? You're probably getting at most 1 to 2% return on your money annually, right? At the end of the year, let's say you left $1,000 in your saving account. At the end of the year, the bank will pay you. End of the year, the bank will pay you $10 to $20, right? After 1 year, like after the Earth going around the sun once, right? And just to give you some context, right? Yearly inflation right now is about 3%, right? So
Okay.
what $1,000 will buy you at the start of the year, at the end of the year, you're gonna need about $1,030 to buy the same thing, right? So leaving your money in the bank, you're not beating inflation, right? Like your money at the end of the year has less worth than it was at the start of the year. So people think, oh yeah, my money is in the bank, it's safe, I'm not gonna lose it. But you're really losing it because the value of the money keeps on going down.
That's
right?
true.
So,
Yeah.
and now leave the crypto or stocks aside, right? Even if you just went out and you bought, maybe pens, a wholesale pen, and you resold it, right? That's your business. And you started the business with 1,000, right? At the end of the year, I promise you, no matter how bad you are at a business, you've at least made $100 in profit, right? So my opinion is that no matter what you're doing, if you're putting your money to work, you're gonna have more money at the end of the year than if you left the money in your savings account. And one thing else is that when you leave your money in your savings account, your bank is lending out that money, right? And they're getting an interest of about 19% on that money, right? And they're not linking you anything out of the profit. Or worst case, banks invest in the stock market, in the crypto market, in the forex market, and they can make like double that money, and they'll still pay you back your 1%. You know, so the bank is literally making money off you. But then they're gonna say like Scotiabank know this thing, but their motto is you're richer than you think. That's cap. You're poorer than you think, because you know the bank is richer than you think, because the bank like they make it, you know, like their marketing is that they're there to, you know, to help you reach your, you know, your financial goals. Let's say you want to save or want to buy a house or not. The bank has one goal and one goal only: to make as much money off you as they can. That's the goal of the bank, nothing else, right? And this is another example too. If you're an adult and you have a bank account, you're paying a monthly fee to have your money in the bank, right? And the money that you make on the interest is never ever going to beat your monthly fee. Like most banks charge about $9 and up monthly, right? None of them are let's say you have $1,000. You know, like what? Like you're better off leaving your money under your bed. You know, so yeah, that's that. But
making money.
Yeah, but like it's better than losing money, at least. Like the question about what are the conceptions? I would say the main thing is just open-mindedness, you know? Open-mindedness. Not even education. Trust me, some fools, like I'm saying, some stupid people have made millions in the crypto market. You know? And it's just because they are willing to try. And definitely you can lose money too. I'm not saying you cannot lose money, but it's the willingness. Like everything that is new is always gonna be called a scam. Everything. Like I'm telling you, every single thing. Like the internet, you know, when it came out, everyone's like, you know, what is this? You know, we're not using this. But now, who doesn't use it? Even our parents use the internet, you know? So that is just the way life goes. And especially with the media too. If there's anything the media is when the media is on anything saying that it's dangerous, it's this, it's that, it's bad, that is what you should be looking into getting into. Because the way the media is for the masses to stay down. That's the whole point of the media. Like look at stocks, right? Back a couple years ago, most of the mainstream media were saying Tesla is a bad investment, you know, don't get into Tesla, you're risking your money, right? And Tesla went up like 100x, right? And then now at the peak, the same media stations are the ones saying go put your money into Tesla. This is the biggest, you know, that's the next best thing. Fam, it's already done. Like it's already gone up. And that's why you see a lot of, you know, lots of people who went and they bought Tesla at $900 and now they're losing money. Why? Because they're listening to the mainstream media, you know? Yeah. So that would be the same with crypto. Like I remember a couple years ago, JP Morgan were saying, "Oh, Bitcoin is a scam." Guess who just invested in Bitcoin? JP Morgan. All the companies are doing it now. Mastercard are putting. They've all integrated BTC into their system. Visa, Mastercard, PayPal, they're all doing it, and these people are working with billions, right? So like, they're not stupid, right? They don't want to miss out, right? So, and then trust me, when we hit the top, they'll be the ones saying, "Oh yeah, this is the time to buy," right? And then most of the
100x,
right, most of the people who they've scared out of looking at this at that time, those are the people that would go and buy the top. So
just to interject there, Stanley. So thankfully you brought up stocks. I was just gonna say, so you know how at the start of the year everyone was pumping money into stocks, and right now it seems like the stock market isn't doing so great, or people aren't really eating off the stock market. So why crypto now? Why is like, as the stock market basically isn't doing so well, crypto is on the rise now. Most people have switched out of crypto. So switched out of stocks and into crypto. Why do you think? And also let's be conscious of the timing too. Just something brief.
Okay, like, what I think is that, right, like money, even though like they're printing money every day, there's still a limited amount of money in the world, right? So money is gonna flow, right? So it's like, when it was the gold rush, what did people do? Everyone's buying gold, everyone was buying mines. When it was the .com bubble, right? Everyone was putting their money into the internet. That's the same thing with every market, and when it crashes, people are gonna look for where is the new place to put your money. And like, with the stock market, after it dipped in March of last year, everyone's that got in then made a lot of money, right? And the market just kept going up. So by this year, like, the market was so high up, right? And the public idea was, it just like, stonks just go up. That was the meme, right? Stonks just go up, right? So everyone was just getting into stocks. But then what you should also know is that when you see everyone, like, one guy we have on Instagram, he said, there's a line he said that, like, when you see the grandmas getting into stocks too, that's when you know it's time to get out. When everyone is already in, because what pushes the market up is new buyers getting into the market. When they're buyers, then the market goes up. But when everyone is already in the market, it can't keep going up, right? So a few months ago, when the stock market went down, it was just basically exhausted. There wasn't no more new buyers, and the upside was now less than the downside, right? So people who had been in the market for a while, they were trying to get out, right? Because they've already made money and they know that there's not much more money left to be made. And with crypto, right? Crypto was already actually moving up since, I would say, November of last year, but it was just, under the radar a bit. But then as the stock market started to go down, obviously more people were looking for where to put their money, right? So, and they saw the crypto market was going up, so they're like, oh my god, okay, let's go here, right? So that's how it is. And the crypto market wouldn't go up like, what is the word? Perpetually, right? It's
Like it won't be just going up forever.
a time will come where it's gonna come down. At a time will come where stocks are gonna start going up again, right? That's how the market works. Every market, there's up and there's down. There's up and there's down, right? So, like the goal is to get in when it's early, when it's about to go up, and then get out when it's about to come down. But
that's only for people that are trading, man. You have to understand, like, because obviously there are two types of people that enter any market, man, like investors and traders, right? So fundamentally, obviously, if you're going in to invest, you don't care even though it goes up or down, because 5 years from now, you're still like there's some tokens I feel I'm still going to own 5, 10 years from now, because I'm like, you can only imagine the value of holding something that's truly valuable for literally 5 to 10 years. Like if you look at the grand scheme of things, crypto has already been around for something like, is it like 12 years, 11 years, something like that, 13 years.
yeah,
So
11
yeah,
years.
in that respect, it's just if you're thinking long term, then obviously this won't bother like the highs and the lows. But
yeah,
definitely if you're just trying to make money, for sure, I understand that logic.
definitely. But here's the thing, right? Me, this is where I see it, right? When I think the market's about to come down, I would get out most of my money. This for people that don't have that much money. If you have a lot of money, you're not really, worried about the volatility. But let's say you make 100K, right? And you think the market is about to come down, would you just stay in, watch it on the 20K, and then it goes back up, or would you want to get out and then re-enter the market when you think it's about to go up again? I like with trading. I see it as a day-to-day thing, but like when I say go up and down, I'm talking about months or maybe even years, right?
I see.
So, yeah, like the stock market went up for a year straight. Like, if you got in March of last year, you could have stayed in like for the whole year and, nothing to worry about because everything was just going up. But yeah, some people are gonna buy the top. These are the unlucky mans. The people that came into the stock market in March of this year, right? So
that's lucky me, man. That's lucky me. Mine was January, Sha. I think no, mine was February.
No. Now you came in January, late January. That's why you made some money.
Yeah.
One of my friends got in the market in March. I was like, I'm sorry about that.
Bad timing. So just to round up a bit, just a very quick, just to round up a bit. So what are some of the trading platforms you guys use for crypto? I know in stocks we use What's Simple. If you want to look at the prices of a stock, we use the YOUUU Finance. What are some of the platforms you use for cryptocurrency exchange and trading and swapping?
Okay. Number one will be Binance, and this is another thing which makes crypto better than stocks, right?
Just the platforms. No need to.
No. Just a quick thing. Just a quick thing because stocks your, your location matters, right? If you're in Africa, you can't really invest in the New York Stock Exchange unless you, unless you can get a broker which lets you to, which is really difficult, right? Most times you can only get into the stocks in your location, in your country. But with crypto, where you are doesn't matter at all. So Binance, I would say that's the one that we use the most, and I think it's available worldwide as well. And there's also, I think, KuCoin, Crypto.com is I would say that's the easiest one to use in terms of beginners. Binance might look a bit, complicated. So maybe go with Crypto.com. But one thing with crypto is you learn as you go. So yeah, you can start with Binance or Crypto.com, and then you're just gonna naturally
actually, let me
get the
put
hang
it
of
simply,
it.
right? Like, so the centralized exchanges, I think, that are really good for sure is like Binance, KuCoin, Crypto.com, and Kraken. And the decentralized ones we obviously use for swapping, MetaMask and Trust Wallet. Those are literally the main wallets you use. Like, I guess everybody I know uses at least one of those, either like Trust Wallet or MetaMask for like swapping. And most people I know use Binance. But if you're in Canada and you want to move like Canadian dollars, then you need to get a shake pay, then you transfer your money to Binance.
Oh,
But yeah,
Newton,
that's it in a nutshell. Or
if
Newton as
that
well,
works.
but
And yeah,
Newton
and
is kind
to
of buggy.
use what's it called, MetaMask and Trust Wallet I used on Uniswap and PancakeSwap. So yeah,
Or one of those
whatever
as well.
you had that you don't really understand, Google is your friend. So you type it into your bar and you search it. That's how you learn most things right now in this age.
That's fact still. Plus, obviously, you can reach out to us as we're going to be posting this on our YouTube. You can comment on that. We can definitely find resources for you. Just to round up, I'd like to thank Naafiu and Stanley for joining us today with the
Manny wants to run to LCBO. That's why he's rounding up.
Fam, LCBO closes in 28 minutes, bro. Like, I'm literally about to call an Uber for a 5-minute walk. I'm not risking that. Like, I'm calling an Uber. I need to get there real quick. But
take risk and prosper.
right. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope we've been able to educate you a bit about cryptocurrency. Obviously, we're not experts, but we're testing new waters, and we feel
No financial advice.
Exactly, isn't financial advice, but then everyone should at least. We're not going to be like the other media platforms and say that crypto is this, crypto is bad, this is another one. Yeah, we're just trying to just provide information. Whatever you want to do with that information is up to you. So yeah, do you guys have any parting words?
Me, my own is not financial advice. So my own, I'm giving you guys financial advice. Get
This
into
guy.
the space.
They will sue you, man.
When they lose money,
My advice isn't buy this or buy that. My advice is get into the space. Go and do some research. That's my advice. You get me?
Now, if you have any advice.
Like I was telling you this earlier, right? Like, so obviously, I feel that if you're a huge geek, you obviously spend some time, online. You do research about, what are the most innovative things, right? That's kind of like taking the world, by storm, right? And I keep telling
Yeah.
people this, man. Like, there's nothing more innovative right now than cryptocurrency, man. Unless there's some like secret lab somewhere, in, like, in like fucking Area 51 or something like that. But at least
Yeah.
what we know, right? There's nothing more innovative than like, than cryptocurrency in terms of like, upgrading our current financial system, all these little things that could literally improve our lives by a long shot. It's just, to me, it's definitely cryptocurrency. So it's worth like, doing research, learning about it, because you could also apply it, to so many aspects of your life. Especially if you're a business owner, man. It's like, in a sense, you can use it to like, further improve your business, create better brand loyalty, so on and so forth. Like, so yeah, like it's worth definitely looking into, in my opinion.
Apparently, you can also borrow on crypto too. Nafs was saying that earlier. You can take loans and stuff.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. Like, but is a different concept on its own. It's something obviously is you have to definitely do research about, but it's the same thing, man.
Okay.
I keep saying like crypto is for the small guys. It's not for like billionaires. Obviously, those guys are coming in terms of investors, but it really helps the small guy, especially like to me, like I was referencing like a lot of all these unbanked, unfinanced Africans, in Nigeria
Yeah.
and Kenya, so on and so forth. Those are the guys that crypto really changed their world, like you give them access to funds that, most regular banks wouldn't give them access to, give them access to, even having your own wallet is a start, in terms of like banking itself, right? So yeah, just little things like that is what will make a huge difference. But yeah, we'll see over time. I think definitely the world is gonna adapt to it. But the question everybody always asks is like how fast. So yeah, we
That's
don't
true. I
control that.
guess. Well, I guess we just have to watch the space there. Well, guys, thanks
Exactly.
so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Obviously we're used to the bands. Bands is a little bit more serious, just based on the subject matter. We can't really be joking about finances. Like nobody likes like it's a serious P, man.
That's
But
until you
one
become a
love,
millionaire, though.
exactly, smiling to the bank. But right now, boys they frown until payday, basically. But yeah,
Wallahi.
one love, guys. Thank you so much.